Hello and welcome to our Index.io series of 12 webinars. This will be the first one, titled New Law Meets New Discovery. My name is Chris Toomey. I am the Index.io Vice President of Channel and Business Development, and I'm joined by our CEO today, Brian McHughes, who, along with our CTO, Eric Fowler, co-founded Index.io several years ago. For those of you who may not know Index.io, I do want to provide a little bit of background. We are an e-discovery technology company in the cloud that offers uncompromising capabilities for our channel, allowing our channel to integrate any portion of our technology or all of it into their service offering. Today we're actually going to take a look at a new topic that we've been following for quite some time. We title it New Law. Basically, we define that as the manner in which e-discovery is practiced now in law firms and corporations that require comprehensive yet very economical e-discovery solutions for every matter. In essence, we're noticing more and more through our channel as well as across the country in different focus groups that we've run that they are requiring big data technologies to leverage anytime on demand with defined set costs. Basically, they need that predictability on costs. We're addressing that new law with what we're calling New Discovery. This New Discovery is a way that you can manage every engagement for your clients that's going to blend the security, scalability, and control that a cloud-based solution provides with the performance and speed of big case technologies, with that user-friendly interface that Index.io provides, and a very flexible approach to handle collections through to production and any required function along the way. There are no minimums, there are no commitments, there's nothing to buy and nothing to install. You have your own branded interface as we're going to place that control into your hands. Well, today we want to talk about a couple of those examples of what actually dictates what is new law. So think about your own practice and how you're addressing some of these. And I'm sure there are many others than what I'm going to just mention right now that would be happy to talk to you after the presentation as to how we would address them and empower you to actually handle them. But think about the instances where you have multiple targeted collections even after an engagement starts. How are you handling them so that you're consistent and repeatable in every bit of that practice? How do you address a quick timeline with the law firm when they're throwing data on you? We give you that empowerment that you can become that hero to save the day for them. How do you handle matters that explode on the firm? We basically can give you cost predictability and a platform that will scale, branded for your business. And last, what's that consistency across matters? Are you handling different matters for the same client differently? Or are you being consistent in how you approach every engagement for that client? And lastly, what about that new e-discovery practice of audio and video files? How are you handling them along with multi-language? And last, what about productions in a changing environment in highly regulated industries? How are you handling that for the SEC and other government productions as well? We'll address all of these in a very high-level overview of our technology. With that, let me turn it over to Brian McHughes, our CEO, to walk us through an overview of our technology.
Chris, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. I am going to do a high-level overview of Index.io. We're going to start with the basic workflow of ingestion, even some collection tools that we have built in Index.io all the way through to our export interface. I'm going to go ahead and toggle over to excuse me, our login page. One thing I will note for the channel partner, we do have a white label options. So if I click over to the Vandelay Industries here, you'll see we have a channel partner logo, color scheme, and it's more continuity for this end user or this channel partner's end users. So we can fully customize this to our channel, which brings a lot of value and keeps a consistent touch with your end users. So getting started here. It's very easy to sign up for users within Index.io. We are cloud-based, so everything that's transferred between the interface and our platform is secure. Security is number one within Index.io. It's through SSL or socket layer encryption. We also store username and password salt hash encrypted, so it is a reset, not a retrieve. And all data on the back end is stored encrypted. So any data in transit or stored or at rest is encrypted. I'm going to go ahead and sign in here. The other thing I'll mention here as I'm signing in, we do have unlimited users. So if a case starts with a couple review team members and explodes to hundreds, it can be accommodated. There's no extra charge. There's no extra fees for each user. When you sign in, you're actually presented with the Favorites tab and a My Project tab. The Favorites tab is going to list the projects that you're currently pulled up to the Favorites tab as far as maybe high priority or what you're focusing on now. When you go into a project like Una Global Tech here, you'll notice we give you some nice metrics as far as pre-processing data, post-processing data broken down by extension, category, collection. These are fully interactive. Document timelines, again interactive. I can click and drag, it'll resize to that timeline set. I can search that range. We display email domain information. These are all the domains pulled out of the to, from, CC, and BCC fields. We also display system tags. So during our processing, we extract text, metadata, we virus scan, we dedupe. That's on a global, custodian, and collection level simultaneously. We identify system files. We make a PDF of everything that you'll be able to leverage within the review platform. I'll show you here in a sec. We identify password protected information as well as potential personal information, including social security card numbers and credit card numbers. And then we also convert audio to searchable text. We do have an audio and video player within the platform here that you can leverage for that review. But we do also transcribe that audio on supported file types to searchable text, and that's all part of the default platform that you get with Index.io. And since we do extract email domains, we are able to chart those out here. One of our other beneficial charts here on the post-processing tab is a communication chart. We actually map out all communications to and from specific email addresses. You'll see here we're set at 50. This can be adjusted up or down to give you the chart and graph at the focus level you are looking for. Again, these are all interactive. You'll notice here on my set I have a big blue slice. If I click into that blue slice, it's taken me to that list. I can click on any of these items and I'm immediately displayed that item in PDF format to review for relevancy or any other review efforts that are needed. While we're here, we will talk about the review element itself. You can set up forms. We have radio buttons that are obviously responsive, not responsive, privileged, not privileged, regular checkboxes. You can always add ad hoc tagging. So if you come up with a new case issue or you want to group on a new tag, you can just enter it ad hoc. You can apply notes to a record. You can redact this item. You can see the thumbnail view of this item. You can actually search within this item with our search bar here. So for instance, if I search for the word to, you're going to see that it highlights here, and I can highlight all instances of the word to. So it's a very nice review component here. You can always download the PDF or print the PDF view of the item you're viewing. You can also download the original native file. These are user permission settings that you can turn on and off when you add users. We give you full access to the metadata. We display related items, including more like this search. So we take 100% of the searchable text. We keyword tokenize it, think of it as a keyword fingerprint, and then we search the entire project for items that are 70% or higher like this item, which is a very useful tool to find other potential relevant items. And then we show conversation threading, so we actually will map out the conversation thread and where this item falls within that thread. It's a great, very robust viewer. You can always bulk tag. Since we looked at these and determined that these are all from a schedule crawler, we can actually just bulk tag these as junk. We can apply that tag, and now we've just eliminated or grouped 5,238 items within our set to be leveraged later in the export or filtering process. So I'm going to toggle back here to the tabs again. You'll see pre, post, collections, custodians, tags, reports, exports. While it's here, I will say that we do a lot of passive notifications, so you know when certain things have happened, when collections are finished processing, when exports complete, etc. So you just saw that tagging was complete. It's very easy to search within Index.io. We do have a quick search bar here at the top, so we can type in the word kin. We're going to get 183 hits, just like Google. You can make this as complicated as you would like. So we can type in kin and lay and pull up those items. There's a full support article about all of the search perimeters allowed up the top here, and or not proximity wildcards, phrasing. You can build out whatever complex query you need up here. We also have an advanced search that allows you to drag and drop fields, so it's a query builder, if you will. So we can actually type for the word Ken in this instance, and maybe I just want email or MSG files. I can either pick it from the list of known extensions for this case, or I can type it in. I can hit search, and it's going to apply that search configuration across the board. You can combine tags with your search, so if you wanted to say and everything that is responsive or confidential, you can apply that and return the result sets. In this instance, there's 0. Toggling back here, it's very easy to add data into Index.io. You'll see here add collection. It's a 2-step wizard. You're going to give it a custodian name. This is an IntelliSense field, so prior custodians that match what I'm typing will be pulled up for consistency purposes. You can give it a collection name. You can give it a description. Maybe it's a work laptop. That's the source of the data. We have a few settings: extract files from containers. These are OST, PST, Mbox, Zip, tar, rar, etc. We also extract attachments from emails. Any attachment like a Word doc, Excel, photograph to an email will be extracted, and that parent and child relationship will be maintained. We can extract embedded items. These are logo files within Word documents or all the constructive parts of a PowerPoint. It's not set by default, but we do have that capability. It's also worth noting that you can change the time zone in which data is processed. Under the admin, we default to GMT. So step 1, pretty easy. Who's it belong to? What do I want to name the collection? Maybe a description and a couple settings. And then where do you actually get the source data from? And Index.io makes it very easy and intuitive to pull data from multiple resources. For instance, you can actually drag and drop a container file right here. This can be up to a 2 gig file, so a 2 gig PST, 2 gig zip. You can also file pick it. It can actually upload right through the browser, and you hit save and you're off to the races. We also provide an IIO drive, which is a secure SFTP account specific to every project created in Index.io. The user that creates the project's emailed credentials to connect to this IIO drive. They can transfer data through FileZilla, Transmit, whatever their favorite SFTP application is. Once here, it can be selected and processed. We do connect to third-party data sources. For instance, if you have an FTP or SFTP server, or one of your other vendors do, instead of downloading and uploading to us, you can connect directly to that and transfer data straight from that server to us. We connect to Amazon's S3. This is Amazon's file storage platform that a lot of corporations are leveraging for archived data and just data management. And then what makes it very robust and easy is the email and Dropbox connector. You can actually connect through an IMAP connector to Outlook, Google, Yahoo, AOL, any account that has an IMAP-enabled server. For instance, you would just select the Google email, password, and then you're actually synchronizing that data down to Index.io or to Index.io. We're processing, extracting based on your settings, OCRing in real time. All of the steps that we go through in our processing all happen with just a click of a button. The same goes with Dropbox. You can connect to any Dropbox account, browse through the subfolder directory structure, pull data straight from Dropbox and process it and synchronize it in Index.io. So we make it very easy to obtain data within this platform. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just select this example PST, and I'm going to hit save. It takes a lot longer to explain that than it actually does to execute. Now, one of the differentiators for Index.io is, one, all of these tools that you've seen are available to you 24/7 via secure connection. Okay, now what that means is you're able to fire up this collection, fire up another collection, fire up another 30 collections with various projects if needed. And you always have those available resources. You don't have to worry about how many licenses do I have of something, when do those renew, what features did we add on to them to pay for extra processing steps. Everything that we've talked about and it's referenced on our website is available through this one price point. Worth noting here is we are initializing a dedicated server environment. This goes back to the you can add more and more and more collections to this. Each one will get their own server environment, and each server environment will actually be monitored and scaled accordingly. The best way we've put it in the past is there's no difference for Index.io if we run one server environment for 10 hours or 10 server environments for one. But there's a big difference on your part. And so we actually monitor this collection. We scale it out automatically. There is an as-a-service part to Index.io where we are monitoring the back end, the system health. We're making sure that your data is getting processed and handled as efficiently as possible, while presenting you with that user-facing or front-end facing tool set to where you have the convenience and the power right at your fingertips. Okay. So if we click back here, this is going to fire up in a few minutes and it'll start processing that data. At any point, you can dive into a collection. You'll get the same pre and post processing reports that we saw on the project level, but you can also browse this set. For instance, I can click on an item, I can view it, I can code it, do all my decision making on it, etc. I can also filter this set. So at any time I can show filter, and I can use the tagging efforts to say show me everything that's not marked junk. For instance, this is an and, an or, and a not logic on the tag filter. So I can apply that filter, and of my 1,100 items, I'm down to 313. This may be my review set. I can then bucket this up, or I can actually create batches at this point. So this is my review set. However I get here, search, filter, etc. I can create batches. I can give it a prefix, ABC, maybe a delimiter. What's my start value? I want to pad it with 4, 200 items per batch. There's only 300, so maybe we'll say 100 items per batch. I want to keep families together, and I'm going to hit start. Now what happens is we're creating those batches that you can then have your users come in and the documents are organized for them. So if I click over here on tags, you'll see that we have a batch tagging area. Now under tags, we do have 3 other categories other than batch. We have project tags, which are all the tags utilized and created by the end user. We have domain tags, which are all of the domain values that we extract during processing. These are all quick links. We have system tags, which are all of the tags applied by the system, like is it a dupe? Is it a custodian level dupe? Is it has it ever been exported? Did we OCR it? Did we find potential personal information like credit card number or social security number patterns, etc.? So anytime we find or identify those, we do tag them. And then of course we have the batch tags, to where now you can leverage these items here. You can click into them. As a user, you can use the filter, and you're coming up to your items at 100 apiece, keeping family members together. And then now I know I'm in charge of ABC 0001, and I can review this effort. So just with a couple clicks, we've got to our filtered set. We were able to batch it, and then now we can have users access that information. So let's say now post this. We've done our review. We've done our items. We want to do an export. Actually, before I do an export, I will do a report just to show you how easy our reporting is. For instance, here under post-processing, at any time on all these post-processing charts, I can click the download report here. Now what that does is it gives me a nice pretty PDF. It gives me a nice pretty PDF of all the charts and graphs that you're seeing here, but it also gives me the underlying CSV data. And that's important because I want to know how did this chart get created. And it breaks it down with the CSV by extension and count. It gives me literally a timeline of the documents associated with those date and times. It pulls out and gives me items for email domains. How many items are in Enron? How many items are in Yahoo Groups? You'll see here I could download it here to the interface or under my reports tab. All of these have not only the pretty chart, but also the underlying data that you can leverage with your team. And again, as I had mentioned, you can download it for the from the notification, or it's always available under reports here. You can see all of the other reports that I've ran in this set. So now that we've reviewed, we processed, we reviewed, we've done some reports, we're going to go ahead and export. And again, this is a high-level demonstration. We do want to encourage you all to come back for the next series as we dive into particulars on each one of these steps, and we show you some of the more advanced features within each. But this will be a pretty high level to show you start to finish, as we ingested data, we searched it, we reviewed it, we tagged it, we redacted, ran a report, and exported. So let's do an export. We're going to hit Add Export. We're going to give it a name like Export -004. We do have the option of image native. I will say under the image, you do have the feature set to allow you to do a combination of image and native, which we're going to try to do here. You'll see that it's a 7-step wizard. We're going to hit next. We're going to select the collection or collections we're pulling from. If you just want to pull, ingest, dedupe, remove system files, and export, you would just select that one collection. You're off to the races. We did some filtering and tagging across all of our collections, so I'm going to select them all. We're going to say, just give me everything tagged responsive, right? And maybe not privilege. We're going to hit next. We're going to select our load files. We do give you a CSV with all available metadata fields, as well as a relativity and an SEC defined load file based on their published documentation. So with one click of a button, you can have a relativity load file with the associated image load file, an Opticon file, for instance, OPT, and it already has the predefined. Now, if you need something more custom, that's not a problem. You can create your own, and we give you full functionality as far as delimiters. You can use one of these as a template. So if you want to start with the relativity delimiters, it'll reset. You can change the date, the time, and the date time formats to be whatever your requirements are. You can even make it July instead of 07, or make it a 24-hour clock if you're dealing with European data. You can toggle on and off fields as far as what you're taking. You can rename them. Maybe we don't want the space in there. And then you can make this fully your load file, and we give you all of these field options available. You will be able to save this to leverage on future exports. So as we get down here, we have everything, track changes, hidden column, everything longitude, latitude even. So a lot of available options as far as what you can take, because we don't discriminate when we export or extract metadata. We actually pull out all the metadata fields available, and then we group them by core or extended. So we could save this if we'd like. I already have one saved. It's called My Files, so we can select multiple load files to create at the same time. I'm going to hit next. This is a pretty standard screen. What do I want my prefix to be? Maybe I have a start value. Maybe I'm going to pad it with 8. I'm going to hit next. How do I want my images formatted? Do I want color? Do I want TIFF or PDF? We default to black and white TIFF. We can endorse lower right, lower middle, lower left. You can put in a static endorsement, as well as you can leverage tagging in here. So there's a method in which you can put a privilege tag, for instance, and if it has the privilege tag, it would be tagged as privilege. If it doesn't, it will be left blank. The last screen here on screen 7 is what do we do with natives and placeholders. So by default, we generate a placeholder for every item that is failed to generate a valid image. These are audio files, video files. It's going to say this file failed to generate a valid image. It's going to get a bait stamp based on your prior setting. And then the natives, they're going to be put into a natives folder. Now, if you don't want natives, under any circumstance, just click never. Then no natives will be included for placeholders or any circumstance. On the flip side of that is if you want a native for every item you're exporting, you can say always include natives. We do default to placeholders. We give you a couple presets for placeholders. Obviously, we make the default for anything that failed to generate a valid image, but we also do spreadsheets and presentations, or any item with a specific tag. So for instance, I could say any item that is tagged kin, I want a placeholder that says this file was produced natively. It gives me the original file name, and then it copies the native matching the Bates number. So again, it's just a lot more flexible to say anything with this tag than to consistently list out audio, video, email, all these types. We give you all that power up front, and you would click start. Your export will initialize, and when complete, it'll have a download just like you see here with the other exports. This download of the export will also be available in the IIO drive, so you can download it through the interface or through that secure SFTP, or secure SFTP. It's easy to get started in Index.io. For instance, if I go to our website, you'll actually see a login or try it out. We encourage you to try this out. It'll take you to the sign up screen. You can actually log in here, set up an account. You'll be emailed credentials on how to set up your password. Once you do, you'll come into your projects, log in, and you'll see my first project listed here under your favorites. Everything I've shown you today is at your guys' fingertips. You can control it however you want. We definitely recommend you get in, try it out, and hopefully there's a number of channel partner that we've worked with already, that you may have seen a few features that are new. We do have an aggressive development roadmap. We typically release about every 3.5, 4 weeks new features for the tool, and those are almost always directly related to user feedback. And so, for instance, we had just, I think less than a month ago, integrated the Dropbox connector, and we have more fun things coming. So if you want to see what's on the roadmap, reach out to us directly and we can go over that. Again, thank you for your time. I'm going to turn it back over to Christopher Toomey, and thank you.
Great, Brian. Thank you very much for that detailed overview. Appreciate that. For all of those listening, please contact us to discuss how an Indexed.io partnership can work for you and how you can develop additional features and settings within your own workflow. You can always call us at 888-840-0706 or visit us on the web at www.indexed.io. As we mentioned at the start of the hour, please join us next month as we highlight our new release for 2016 in advance of Legal Tech. Watch your emails for that webinar announcement. Until that time, we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a happy, safe, and successful 2016. Thank you for joining us today.